Now, without further ado, I'd like to get started. And I'm so excited to introduce our talented presenter, Teralyn Rose. Teralyn is our manager of financial fitness and coaching at CalCoast Credit Union. She's been with the credit union since January of 2001, and she's worked in many positions at many branches, from a teller in El Cajon to assistant manager in La Mesa. And in August 2008, she was hired as our first financial fitness coach for the credit union and was instrumental in creating and implementing the current program that we have today. She's received her financial counseling certification at the end of 2009, and she currently helps members every day with their personal financial management, including controlling cash flow, analyzing spending, reviewing payroll statements, and managing both credit and debt. She assists our members in creating awareness of financial habits, developing workable solutions, and implementing a reasonable plan of action so that our members can reach their financial goals. So, Teralyn, I'd like to pass the baton to you, and the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. I am so excited to have everybody here. This is one of my favorite things that we do, talking about ways to help you reach your financial goals. I've helped thousands of members reach their financial goals, start that road to financial freedom, help them with each of these things, and we're going to talk about today. So in the chat, there's a comment, what does financial freedom mean to you? I would love to get your feedback in the chat. Just type some thoughts in there about what that looks like, because everybody has their own picture of what they want that future to look like for them, right? Do you think about being financially self-sufficient? Do you think about financial flexibility? You think about being able to go to Tahiti and Hawaii and anywhere you want to go without worrying about it? Do you think about owning your own business? What does financial freedom look like to you? No matter where you are in your financial journey, we want to help you get some good financial habits to help you achieve financial freedom faster. Today, we're going to talk about 6 steps to start your journey to financial freedom. Hopefully this will advance one of these days. There we go. Having a written plan for your money is so important to get started. Having SMART goals, paying yourself first, saving for emergencies, spending less than you earn, and learning how to invest. These are some really great habits to get into that help you reach that financial freedom. So most of these sound pretty self-explanatory, right? You want to take a deep dive into each of these, right? A few tips and tricks. So not only to get started, but to get your powerful habits going and help you start to, right? All right. So number 1, having a written plan for your money. This is one of the first strongest financial habits, and it's really important to write things down. Why does this help you? This is a really cool study that people did where there were participants were split into 3 groups. Given one simple task, exercise at least twice a week. One of the common New Year resolutions. And the first one was just dismissed, go do it 2 times a week, have a good time. The second and third were letter to room, given all the benefits of exercise, a healthy heart, energy, get your mind going. Second group was dismissed. The third group was asked to do one extra thing and write down a time and a location of when they were going to do those exercises, right? A written plan for those exercises. So after 2 weeks, we checked back in. Now, the first group, only 35% of the first group had completed 2 workouts each week. The second group, even though they knew the knowledge and benefits of exercise, it was only just 30, it wasn't that much higher. So in the chat, the third group, who wrote down their plan when they were going to work out, the time and date, what do you think the percentage of people in that group was that actually stuck to this? I want you to think, write down in the chat. We're going to get ideas. Any ideas of how many people with a written plan were able to stick to their goal? And this was astonishing to me when I read this. Any ideas whatsoever? So remember that first group was 35, the second group was 38, we have 70, we have 40. Are you guys ready for this? 91%. 91%. That is huge. Having a written plan just makes it real in my mind, right? So I think that's really powerful to write that down. Now, You might be thinking, I've never had a written plan. We also probably pay budget. And it's really hard to know where to start with that, right? So what are the resources that we have? One, California Coast Credit Union has a free service where we will help you go through your written plan and understand what you want to accomplish, right? So it's free service. You don't ever charge for it. Why not take that with it? We also have a great free online resource. If you're not ready to sit down and talk to someone, it's free. But if you're not ready for that, we have a free online resource at calcacu.org/enrich that you can go in and there's articles and videos and all kinds of information there that can help you go through and figure out what your budget is, right? It's such a powerful thing to go through and write all this down and just look at this, right? Know your expenses, write down. We have this really cool tool that I'm going to share with you guys that I'd be happy to send to you guys at the end of this, that you can go in and it gives like the most common expenses that we have, or the fixed expenses that have due dates. It has the variable expenses, groceries, meals out, entertainment, charity donations, books. That's a huge one for me. And then the big one that most people forget about are those annual expenses. My DMV renewal is $240 a year. That's $30 a month. So I want to break that down into a monthly amount. Looking at all these other fixed expenses and my variable auto repairs. I've got to get tires every 2 to 3 years, about $800, or $800 divided by 2 years, or $400 a year. And kind of break it down that way to get what your monthly amount is. And pets, and got pets, kids to go to camp, school tuition, all kinds of expenses. Write this down, know what you are spending throughout the year. If you're not quite sure where to do that, go look at your statements on what you've done with a couple of months and see what you have in there. And then the other one is knowing debt details. Again, I have another really cool handout that will help you go in and look at your credit card details, your mortgage details. You've got one, any personal loan details, auto loan details, student loans. It's a really great bit of information to have and just kind of gather all this information, right? I want you to review your written plan weekly, monthly, just do it more often because again, it's such a powerful habit to create and follow that written plan. Get motivation and good intentions as you saw from group 1 and 2 will only get you so far. That means that's a really big percentage. So we highly recommend going through and doing that for yourself. Number 2 is setting SMART goals. Yes, I saw a note in the comments. There's a couple of questions. Do you have to make an appointment for this? For the financial fitness, yes, we make an appointment. It is a free service. We have 3 people that can help you. One does speak Spanish and we can give that information at the end. And I will be happy to send any of the spreadsheets that we talked about today that can help you on your path to financial freedom. You don't even have to schedule a video. I'm happy to share those with you. So thank you for your comments in there. SMART goals, I want to talk about this because this was really, really powerful. People come in all the time and say, okay, my financial freedom, I want to be debt free. Well, that's a really awesome goal. But what do you mean specifically? Do you know how much debt you have? Hopefully that's step 1. You've written all that information down. Do you know how much you can go towards the debt? Do you have a specific time frame that you want to have that? And do you know why you need the debt? So gather all this information and be really specific about what you want to accomplish. In the chat, let's talk about this one. Do you have a dream vacation destination? And I use this as an example because it's really good to kind of go in. My dream vacation destination is I want to go to Tibet and do a hiking trip and visit all the monasteries out there. In order to make that happen, I have to know how much it's going to cost to get there, what the cost of the lodging is going to be, what kind of, I'm going to be walking, but I might have to pay for some countries while I'm there. There's food, they want to get any kind of souvenirs. There's all these expenses, and when do I want to go? So having that specific amount, it's going to cost $4,000. When I want to go, I want to go next month. Is that attainable? Well, I don't have that money. So how can I come up with it? I can sell my car. And there's always ways to make it a reality. If it really matters to me, if it's relevant, I'm going to do whatever it takes to make that happen. But also that attainable is really important. People come in and they say, I've got $10,000, I want to be debt free in a year. That's over $800 a month that you have to throw towards that debt. Is that achievable with your current cash flow? If it's not, okay, maybe we need to stretch that out and be more realistic, make it more attainable, but also have that plan to recognize my progress. Where am I at in 3 months, 6 months in a year? I've achieved it and check it off. We also typically add an R, what's my reward for achieving that goal. So mine is if I achieve a goal that I've established that has a specific time frame and measurable amount, I can make it happen with my cash flow. It matters to me to have a time frame to check it off. I'm gonna go to Barnes and Noble and get $20 hardcover deck to add to my budget. That's something that I do. So I love doing that. It might sound a little muffled. Let me see, if everybody can hear me. It might be that I just need to maybe turn. I'm sorry. If everybody can hear me, let me know. If you're not hearing it, so I can find. Another question, do you offer plans to consolidate credit card expenses? We definitely will go through your income, expenses, your debts, and come up with all kinds of ideas, recommendations, suggestions, things that you can do to increase your cash flow, decrease your debt, come up with a plan that's going to work for you and save you the most money. We have a lot of ways to do that. We also work with members on improving the credit score that will open up more options for you. So, yeah, that's something to look into. So I want you to go through and set up these SMART goals, write them down. We have a really awesome handout on this too. I'm telling you, I got a handout for everything. So let me go here and pull up that SMART goal worksheet. Make your goal specific, what, where, how, when, make your goal measurable. How will you measure your progress? How will you know you've achieved it? Have a time and amount. Make your goal attainable. Make sure you can put that in your capsule or it's actually achievable, not setting yourself up to fail. Make your goal matter to you. It has to matter to you. If it matters to you, you're going to do whatever it takes to make it happen. And then be able to measure that progress and check it off. And then set new SMART goals, right? So that's a really powerful tool. So really think about what you want to accomplish and write it down. Having that written down for that too. Another really great tool for financial freedom. And I know you guys have heard this before. I know you've heard pay yourself first. I know you've heard you have to save. And in this current economy, it's so hard. I'm on a lot of groups that talk about they are just trying to make it through each month because their rent has gone up and their insurance has gone up and fuel expenses has gone up and gas has gone up and everything keeps going up and our income isn't keeping up with that. So this whole concept of pay yourself first, and you're like, I can't do it. I have no money left over, right? It is an effective strategy and it's really hard, but there are ways we can make it happen. Again, this is where coming in and knowing what your resources are can help you. So come see us. I just had someone I met with for 3 months, went from negative 800 to positive 300 by going through and looking at all of the options. Lots of really ways to do it. So some ideas of ways you can pay yourself first, that especially saving for future expenses, right? Making sure that I'm not getting into debt because I'm saving for the expenses that I know are going to happen. This was the biggest thing that helped me get free of my debt, was having a named savings account for each of my occasional expenses. I have an auto repair savings of CalPERS Credit Union. I have a vacation savings. I have a gift and holiday savings. I have a home savings. I have an annual expense savings. And I have a set amount going to those every single payday, right? So that if I have money going into my auto repair savings, I don't touch that money unless it's for my car, because I know I have to get oil changes every 3 to 4 months. I know I have to get tires and brakes and batteries and windshield wipers. I just paid $1,500 because my car broke down. And if I don't have money set aside, it typically goes in the credit card. So it's super, super duper important to set up those accounts. I have a really cool handout on that too. Again, surprise, suggestions for savings. So we have that set up, that separate account. Setting up an automatic transfer. This is really helpful because as soon as you get paid, you have the money swept out of your checking account and you don't see it. And it's in that named account, you're going to be less likely to spend it, right? I don't spend the money in my gift account unless I'm buying a birthday gift, unless I'm buying something for Thanksgiving, I'm buying a Halloween outfit. I'm doing, what's coming up in February 14th, Valentine's Day, yes, people spend money there. Easter's coming up, people spend money there. So putting money aside every paycheck, we actually have a Christmas savings here at Costco's that you can do. So I do want to make sure that we're going into that. So back to the previous screen. This is what's on that handout that I'll be sharing with you. Automate the savings, having the DIRTS method. This is actually really cool for me. So if I ever get extra money, maybe I get a reimbursement for mileage, maybe I get my tax return, maybe I get a bonus, maybe I sold something, maybe I get a gift card for whatever reason, or I get money for my birthday. I use the DIRTS method to help me achieve all of my financial goals faster. So the third method is I take a third of that and I put it into my emergency savings to build my funds quicker and grow that financial base. I put a third towards whatever debt I'm trying to pay off. And there's my student loans. So I'll put a little extra payment towards that to get rid of that debt faster. And then I'll take a third and do whatever I want. If I've achieved my plan and living with my income, and I take that third, or we also do the fourth, I'll do a fourth to my debt, a fourth to savings, a fourth to whatever my goal is, my vacation to go to Tibet, and then a fourth to do whatever I want, right? So that kind of helps you achieve all your goals. My plan already is achieving those, but this extra money that I get is going to make it happen faster. So I really love that third method. If I have any money left over in my checking account when I get paid again, I got say $50 left over. Again, I'll do the same thing. I'll sweep it and I'll do the thirds method, third to debt, third to savings, third to go get down the juice. Kind of reward myself, whatever that is. So I love that thirds method. The give your savings a raise, and what you go back with is if you get a raise annually and maybe you get 2-3%, if you have a month after your review, you have an automatic increase to say an investment account, right? So I have a 401k. Every year I have an automatic increase of 1% because I'm getting a raise, probably, I do my job well. And then I have 1% extra going towards my future self. So my future self is getting a raise. And because it's going and I'm doing that every single year, it actually adds up quite a bit. So I really love this idea of putting money in and giving myself a raise every year, my future self a raise, right? So I love this, is making sure we do that, right? So again, I have that handout that I'll be able to give to you. Seeing your savings build and having that purpose and being able to, even just $10 a paycheck going in there, and maybe have it separated. I have my emergency savings at Credit Karma, but you can do the other online savings accounts that earn more. So kind of take a look about that and see if you can find ones that earn a little higher dividends, but it's not right next to your checking account, where it's really easy to transfer it into your account. Have that set aside, right? Watching it grow will help you stay on top. So the different types of savings we want to talk about: periodic savings, emergency savings, retirement savings. These are all very important parts of that financial freedom. That periodic savings is so those big ticket items are not a burden. When you need to buy tires for your car, when you need to replace your computer, when you need to replace your mattress, when you want to go on vacation, those are all really important things that we spend money on. They're a part of our living expenses. We don't think about them because they're not happening all the time. They're periodic, they're occasional. So if you're setting money aside for those every single pay period, then you're not going to be relying on Sears credit card to buy your refrigerator, right? You're not going to rely on not just discounters who give you 0% for 6 months or a year. You never pay it off in a year, and then we're paying all that interest. We want to make sure we're putting that money aside and including that as part of our overall plan. The emergency savings to protect yourself from unexpected expense. These are things that are going to happen in your life. We ideally should have about 3 to 6 times your monthly expenses in emergency savings, because most emergencies, if you're going out on disability, last about 3 months. And I'm the poster child for that. I've been out on disability so many times in my life. I had right shoulder surgery, left shoulder surgery, a car accident, back surgery, so many things. And I want to make sure that if I'm in immediate financial distress, if I go out on disability because I'm not able to work because I've been injured, that's a very scary place to be. If I can't pay my rent, I can't pay my car payment, I can't pay for groceries, That's really scary. So this is why we say have at least 3 months of monthly expenses. And that number is going to be different for everybody because everybody has different monthly expenses. If you did that very first step, you know what your number is, and you want to make that a goal, and again, set that up where it goes automatically. And then that retirement savings, your future is a priority. I have a lot of really great handouts on that one too, that I love this one, save $1 million. If my goal is to save $1 million, you can be a millionaire. This kind of shows you how long it will take at interest rates over 40 years. So it's not as hard to do. $65, $66 a week if I save for 40 years at an average rate of return of 8%. I can do that. I can totally make that happen. I didn't start until about 20 years ago, so I'm not going to be able to ever be a millionaire. But the sooner you start and the more you have invested, the easier it's going to be. So I do want you starting as soon as you possibly can with that. We're going to go over that a little bit later. So I want to talk about these unexpected. And I talk about this because this is part of that financial freedom. Not having to worry if something happens to you. Not having to think over past year, right? Have you or anybody that you know had an unexpected expense? You're in a fire, a flood, a car accident, an x-ray, an MRI, an emergency medical expense, right? So in the chat, would you be willing to share what that unexpected event was and how much it cost? So start with mine. My car stopped working, so click, took it in, and they said, oh, the engine had to be replaced. $10,000. Part of the warranty, $74,000, but the place that does all of my oil changes changed their systems and no longer had a record of all of my. So they were going to charge me $10,000. Luckily, they said, okay, if we'll pull it apart, we'll pull the engine apart, $350, and if it's been maintained, we'll go ahead and do it. Okay, that's great. So they did it, they pulled it apart, charged me $350, and they said, okay, it's been maintained, we'll replace it as part of the warranty. However, they kept my car for 2 months, and they only reimbursed $800 for my car rentals that I had to use for 2 months. So I had that unexpected expense. Medical leave for family member, lost a job with COVID-19. These are all things that happen, right? And it's so scary to be in that situation that you don't know how to be able to pay for things. And the COVID-19, I mean, there were people who were out of work for a year. So we say 3 months minimum. You know, we say 3 to 6 months, more 6 months, and more if you can. Just keep saving because you don't know what is going to happen. We have the deductibles for the car accidents. We have to replace the car. We have time to rebuild the home. Are you ready for any of that? And worse, what if someone passes away, right? If you have family that passes away and you have to travel to go see them, I mean, that's all part of it too. And that is a sad reality. So we're going to move on really quick to that. All right. How to save for emergencies. We talked about this is the first thing that we want to do, right? Do that emergency savings separate from all your other savings. So a lot of people want to have it all in one big lump account. They have the emergency savings, they have their rainy day savings, they have their retirement savings, all in one account. Have it separate because the emergency savings is if you lose income due to disability, furlough, given the law, whatever reason, right? It's not for Dave Ramsey that's like, oh, I don't have any money for the diet, the pizza, I'm gonna go grab my emergency savings. That's not the kind of emergency. We're talking about replacing income if you lose your job. Replacing income if you fall while you're hiking and you break your shoulder and you're out of work for 3 months, right? That's what the money is for. The emergency is for replacing income. Saving 3 to 6 months because most disabilities last 3 months. 3 of the 4 disabilities I've had have lasted 3 months. How long it took for my shoulders to recover. It was brutal. And again, we have to have that money set aside. My back surgery, it was a year recovery. I was really grateful that my job took me back because that's a long time to be out of work. They don't have to get us in a position like that one, right? And how long it will take is going to be based again on your monthly living expenses. So if I am really frugal and I only need $2,000 a month for my monthly expenses, I need to save 6,000. But if I am a bigger spender and have higher expenses, welcome to San Diego, that 3,000 might be the amount of your rent or your mortgage. So you're gonna need a little bit more to cover that expense, right? So I want to talk about the average person has 12 jobs in their lifetime, right? At least half of Americans have lost their job at least once. I can attest to that. I'm one of those. And imagine if that happens to you, right? If there is a month or 2 month window between the time you lose your job and you get another one, again, another reason why you want to have that emergency savings, right? We recommend you have time to get that new job and not have the stress and take the first lousy offer that you get because you're desperate to get a job, right? Really important to have that emergency savings. And then looking about that 10% rule guideline. So the rule of investing for retirement states you must save 10% of your income in order to maintain the lifestyle that you have now. Now, this is not meant for everyone, right? There's age, needs, lifestyle, location, where you want to go, what you want to do when you retire. But this is a pretty good guideline to have 10% of your income going into savings. Any questions in this at all? Moving on.
Carolyn, we don't have anything in the Q&A.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay, cool. Let's go on to the next slide then. Spend less than you earn. Financial freedom. It's all about living within the income that you have while you're doing all those other steps, while you're saving for emergencies, while you're saving for your goals, while you're saving for your future. Spending less than you earn is really important. And it's really hard to do that again with everything going up. You're not paying attention to that keeping cost of the normal living expenses, and you're not really staying aware of that bottom line. It's really easy to spend more than you earn, especially with those periodic expenses that get thrown in, right? So I do feel like it's really, really important to look at those periodic expenses and make sure you're including that. Most people, and in all the 16 years I've done this, the average amount of annual expenses periodic is not $10,000. So that's not $800 a month when you take the money you spend on all the gifts and holidays, all the vacation, all the home expenses. I'm a plant person. I also like candles, so all the decor, all the pictures, replacing my glasses in the kitchen, replacing the sheets and towels. For the homeowner, they have to look at replacing the washer and dryer and the water heater and the refrigerator and all the things that go along with that. So you want to make sure that you're looking at your spending. Look at your statements, bank statements, utility statements, credit card statements. It's really easy to overspend in all these categories because you think, oh, I always have a cell phone and always gotta buy a new one. But look at your cell phone statement. What are you paying for? And make sure that you're not paying for things you no longer have. That's one of the things we do in financial fitness is we do a deep dive in looking at cell phone statements, water statements, SDG&E, look at ways to reduce that cost. My SDG&E went from 150 down to 50 by implementing a lot of the tips and tricks. My cell phone bill went from 140 down to 35 because I went into a family plan. We split all the costs. I get paid Hulu. There's all kinds of ways to look at that. So are you getting the discounts that you first signed up for? Are you still paying for things that you don't ever use? Streaming services are really easy to sign up for. And then, oh, I forgot about it, or I'll cancel it in 30 days. I am horrible at canceling things in 30 days. I have to put a reminder. I have to tell my friends. I have everybody help me because I am really bad at that. So I try not to sign up for those things because I know they're really bad at it. So looking at my statements, know what's coming out of my statements, looking at when they're due, looking at my expenses, looking at everything, right? So write it all down. A way to help you spend less than you earn, avoid fees, and make sure bills are paid and not paying high interest is automate your bills. Now, I'm not personally a fan of this. I like to control when I pay my bills. I get paid. I go in and I pay all my bills that are due within the next 2 weeks myself. So I have control of when I pay them, how much I pay them. But automating is really helpful for people who have a hard time. Now, if you're a school teacher and you only get paid once a month, try and have all your bills come out at the beginning of the month so that we're not, oh, I forgot, I had this bill come out on the 28th, and now you're having some negative amounts, right? So make sure you're looking at those due dates, save time, save anxiety, get rid of that, get paid with the automated. Meal plans, this is actually something that my other financial fitness coach does. Is he goes in and he meal plans. A lot of really good ideas that I'll share with you guys. But do you guys have any idea how much you spend on groceries? When I thought that I was spending about $300 a month, I found out that I was actually doing $600. No clue, wasn't paying, it just goes like the cards and the money goes. So I didn't have any idea. So the tracking is really important so that you know what your needs are for your family. The average people in San Diego spend about $400 for one person, and every additional person in the family adds $200 to that. So 2 people, 600, 3 people, 800. That's the average and what we've seen because the cost of groceries has gone up so much. But I want you to go track your expenses and see what you did. The other guy, said he was spending about $1,200 on groceries for family of 4 and meals out. Really easy way to go in and look at reducing that cost so that it brings up more money for you to reach those financial goals, right? So he has habit pairing, he pairs a current habit that he has with that grocery spending. So every Wednesday is trash day. So ready or not, every Tuesday night they go out, they take out the trash anyways. They also clean out the refrigerator, grab down what they need to get. They order online, so they don't go walking up and down all the aisles and taking things off that they don't need. They only go to the grocery store and only buy what's on the list, and they would be able to bring that cost down a lot. The most important thing here is that you really need to track. You're going to hear about this from every financial person you ever talk to is you really need to track your expenses because it really is such a powerful tool for financial freedom to have that awareness of where your money is going, right? So it's really, you have to live in your financial truth and you have to be completely honest about where the money is going and be aware of it. Again, I thought I was only doing a little bit, I was doing a lot. I thought I was only doing $50 in meals out, I was doing $250. Because I forgot that we go to Soup Country every Sunday. I forgot that we go to pizza after soccer practice. I forgot that we go get Jamba Juice. I forgot because they're just little things that they all added up to so much. So really important to get that true awareness for true financial freedom. And there's lots of really great ways to do it, right? You have to track, right? Lots of online resources. We have phones, we have online, we have paper ones. I even have this really cool one that we have here, which is an Excel base. I go and I get my receipts and I plug it down. So I go to Costco and I got chicken and I got, so down here you're gonna say I also got towels and I got windshield wipers and I got shoes. So this is really helpful for breaking it down. This top section is my day-to-day stuff. And again, we're talking variable expenses. Down here are my more occasional periodic expenses. And I want to break that down. So we do recommend in the beginning while you're doing this, get receipts. Because again, if you go to Costco, if you go to Target, you can buy everything, but it's only going to say Target or Costco on the same, right? So I do want you to write down that this is a really cool, this tracking tool is very helpful. All these online ones are just pulling and they're just going to say Costco. So it's not going to be as, you know, definitive for you and you get that awareness. All right. Moving on. This is the last one. So learning how to invest. I'm going to go over this a little bit. Not a whole lot, but just a little bit. So following that written plan, having that will help you save that $100. Looking at where the money is going and knowing what you want to accomplish, right? But I want to talk about investing because if you just have money in a regular savings account and you're not really putting money towards your future, the average savings account earns like 0.15. You know, we're not earning very much right now. And the average rate of inflation over the past 30 years has been just slightly over 3%. So if you're not investing for your future, then you're not going to be able to beat inflation. You're actually losing money. So we kind of want to go over a few investment options, 401k, 403b, individual retirement account, stocks and mutual funds. So we're gonna go into a little more detail. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on this because we have a whole nother investment one that we do. But I do want you, when we're talking about financial freedom, looking at your future self, right? So talking about, we're gonna start with the 401k. If you have an employer, these are employer options, that the employer retirement accounts that you can get sign up for through your employer. They take money out of your account. They're tax advantage contributions. A lot of employers match their contributions. If you don't know, talk with your HR and see if they match your contributions to 401k. Because you can't beat that. If I have $100 that I put in my 401k and my company matches $100, I just gave myself 100% rate of return. Math with yourself just got 100% raise, and then they have dividends earning on 200 instead of 100. Take advantage of any matches that you have. Like you can't beat that. Gotta do it. The 401k, when you move to a new employer, a lot of times you can take that money and keep that tax advantage contribution, move it to a 401k with a new employer. Lots of really great options with this one. 401k is set up for for-profit companies. 403bs are set up by schools and things like that, right? So I want to make sure you're not missing out on your chance to invest as early as possible for retirement, or miss getting your employer's 401k match. Again, going back to this, is the more I have, the longer I have to save, the more I'm going to have when I retire. To be a millionaire, I want to take advantage of that as soon as we can. Okay. Talking about IRA, so if your company doesn't offer 401ks or 403bs, we have these traditional individual retirement accounts or Roth individual retirement accounts. These are two options. So these are other that you can go to any financial advisor typically and they can get these set up for you. The traditional IRA is you're putting money into it and you're not charging the taxes on that amount right now, right? If you meet certain qualifications. So you typically won't get taxed on what you contribute until after age 59 and a half total. So any deposit should stay there because you're going to pay fees if you take it out, penalty if you take it out before age 59 and a half, there's a 10% penalty. And because you're putting money into it and you haven't paid taxes on it, they'll also tax you in whatever tax bracket you are. So if you put money into a traditional IRA and 5 years later, if you're not 59 and a half and you take money out of it, you're going to pay 45–50%. You're only going to get about half out of it because they're taking the penalty, the taxes, both federal and state. You don't want to put money in and take money out of this. But I do want you understanding what that is. You put money in, they don't tax you on it right now. The Roth IRA is my favorite for younger people because you are paying taxes on your contributions right now, but everything you earn is tax free. And so when you go to retire and you start pulling money out after age 59 and a half, you've already paid taxes on it and your earnings are tax free. So you're getting income in your retirement completely tax free. I love the Roth IRA, right? So I definitely want to make sure that people are looking into this one, and maybe you do some combination because we want to maybe take a pre-tax contribution now. If I'm in a higher tax bracket now, and I want to bring myself down into a lower tax bracket, I might want to do some traditional IRA, but I also might want to do like maybe half and half and put some into a Roth IRA so that when I retire, I have some options. I have a couple of handouts on information on Roth IRAs and traditional IRAs, but you can also talk to our financial advisors. As a member of California First Credit Union, you do get a free consultation with them. So we do recommend you sit down and talk with them, okay? And I'm going to show this to you because to me, this is with that Roth IRA, right? So Carrie invests $5,000 a year, starts at age 25 and does it for 10 years. So she does $50,000 total. She's going to get 1.1 million to 96.15 a week. She'll get $1.1 million. Chris waits 10 years. He's like, I'm not going to do it right now. I'll worry about it later. And so he starts at age 35. He has to do 3 times as much for 3 times as long. And because he waited 10 years, he's only going to get $540,000. Now, what I want you to look at is Carrie invested $50,000 total. she's gonna get $1.1 million on all those dividends. And if she has a Roth IRA, she's gonna be able to use that completely tax-free at age 65. So that's why I wanted to show you that big difference of 1.1 million for a $50,000 contribution. This is the power of starting early. I want you to start early. That's financial freedom. If I don't have to work so hard to get double, that's what I want to be, right? I'm going to do one last slide. And again, this is very, very surfacey. We have a lot more information, but I want to talk about this because the sooner you start, the more you're going to have, right? So stocks and mutual funds, these are other types of investments. Stock is just a share in ownership of a company. You own a piece of that company. And a mutual fund it's an account that allows you to pool your money with other investors. So you're mutually buying stocks, bonds, and other investments. So you don't have to, maybe one of these stocks is $600 and you don't have $600. You get a mutual fund that allows you to buy a piece of either at a time, right? So say there's a stock that costs $500 for one share. It's a lot of money. Buying into a mutual fund, again, allows you to buy a little piece of a lot of different stocks. It diversifies that, so it's less risky. So one of the really cool things that I like to go into, so I can pull this, I have this up here because I wanted to show you guys. Yahoo Finance is probably one of my favorite places to go. I also like using Robinhood. That's one of my personal places that I go to. But I'm going to go to Yahoo Finance. I'm going to show you guys how to find information here. In the chat, what is a stock that you want to look into? Like, give me the name of a company that you want to look into. And I'm going to pull up that information on here and show you. Let's look at Target. All right, first person on. Let's look at Target. Pull that up, Target Corporation. This is going to pull up all of the information. Right now it's selling for $143.63 per share, $143 per share. All right, so it's going down here. It opened at 143.38, so it's gone up a little bit. I can look at the statistics and how it's done over time, and go look at what the time frame historical data. I can go back and I can take a look at what it's done over time, over a long period of time. So that's really cool. Let's go back. And one of the other things I like to look at is the financials. If you want to go and do a deep dive and do all the percentages and things that you look at here. So I can go look at 1 day, 5 days, 1 month, 6 months. Let's look at the max. The one that was opened in 1984, and it can show you that history of what it's done. 1 year, what's it done, and they're not doing so great. Year to date, not been that long, 6 months. It's a really cool tool to kind of go and look at what that company is doing to see if that's a thing that you want to do. So again, if I had gone into max time frame, if I had bought this back in 1985, I'd be doing pretty good right now. But that's why that longer term investing is better for you, right? So I have another one on Nordisk. Nordisk. Let's take a look at that. Let's see. This NVO is the symbol. Let's pull that up. Selling for 108.5 per share. Let's go down and look at the history. 5 days, 1 month, 6 months, year to date, 1 year, 5 years. So it's been going up steadily, and that's where time goes to your advantage, right? I can go look at the profile, financials, analysis. We can look at what other people are looking at. So it's a really cool tool. I also like Robinhood. It will go in and say what other like actual investors are doing. Are they buying? Are they holding? Are they selling? Gives you information about the news about what's going on with that company. So it's a little more risky when you're doing it yourself, but Robinhood is a really great resource as well. Okay. So we learned a lot of information here that can help you on your journey, save for emergencies, spend less than you earn, learn how to invest. So these are all things that can help set you up for success and help you reach whatever goals you might have. Then we have a lot of great resources. Here's that website on calcofc.org/enrich. Here's our YouTube site where you can go in. We have all of the previous workshops that we've done are typically recorded and put on there. We have a lot of great tools, PDF community appearances, financial awareness workshops and webinars, a lot of great information. So, and then if you want to take advantage, again, we're going to email this to all of you guys. you want to take advantage of our free service, we have Devin Boyer, Yali Fernandez, who does speak Spanish, and then me. We will be happy to meet with you and kind of go over your expenses, help you talk about your goals, help you establish your monthly plan, help you look at getting rid of debt, whatever that financial freedom looks like to you. We can actually do that for you. So there's a comment in the chat. How do you invest in stocks by yourself? I use Robinhood. So Robinhood does it. Acorn is when somebody used to do it. Fidelity has an option where you can buy them yourselves. It's like under Fidelity, you can contribute to your employer, financial services. But yeah, go check out Robinhood. You don't actually have to invest in anything. You just go check things out on it, sign up for an account, and it'll show you some, again, same thing, historical data. Check out the Yahoo Finance and some more information on that. Google the news, like there's all kinds of data information. But now, one thing, if you have credit card debt or debts that are higher than 10%, focus on that first. If your company doesn't want your 401k, because you can never invest in anything that is going to give you a 26% increase in your income, which is what happens if you pay off a credit card that you're paying 26% interest on. Pay the credit card debt off first. That's the first of the financial freedom, is being debt free with credit cards. If they don't want you having credit card balances that you're paying interest on. So much more. I wish I had all day to talk with you guys, but I don't. So do you have any questions for me on anything that we've talked about? Again, we are going to have this saved and recorded, put on our YouTube page. Again, happy to send you, if you want to send me your email, happy to send you all of the handouts that we discussed. If you want to set an appointment with us, reach out. It's financialfitness@calpc.org. We will get back to you usually within 48 hours and get that appointment scheduled for you. We'd love to help our members succeed with any of their financial goals. Okay.
Awesome, Terilyn. So we do actually have some questions in the Q&A. I know we're running close to time, so I see 5 questions, so we'll zip through them. The first one is, should I put all of my different savings in certificates?
Certificates means you're locking the funds away, and you will pay a penalty if you withdraw from it. So the certificate, if you have emergency savings, I don't want it all locked away. Like maybe you have a month's worth or 2 months worth if you've got 3 to 6 months worth, but I don't want to have it locked away where I can't get to it. So I would recommend having a high yield savings account. I have my emergency is at Credit Karma. It's running 4.35% right now. And it takes about 3 days for me to get the funds. So it's not in my checking account, but I do have it in a liquid savings that if I need to bring it over because I lose my job, which that's not going to happen, I've been here forever. I love my job. But if I get injured and I need that fund, I need to have it easily accessible without a fee. I also have my different savings account, my spending savings, my auto repair. Like I get an oil change every 3 months. I need to be able to pull that out of my auto repair savings. So at CalPERS Credit Union, I have different shares on my emergency savings. I do a little bit here. I have 02 as my auto repair savings. So I'm putting money into that every single paycheck. I have the vacation savings. It's all here because typically I am accessing that when I need to buy volleyball shoes every 6 months. I can pull that money over. So I need to have it accessible. Certificate, I do like the holiday certificate because you can't pull money out of that and then we put it back into your account in October, kind of just in time for the holidays.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, if you work in a school district, is it best to set up a 403B with them, or can one be set up through CalCoast?
I would definitely look at talking to the financial advisors there first to see, do they match any of those contributions? What do they have available? What are the benefits? It is easy when they're automatically pulling out of the account. You don't even see it. It's taken out of your pay stub. But then also talk to the financial advisors here to talk about other options. So a lot of times when you go through a 403B, 401k, you have more limited options, right? So always talk to a financial advisor, get multiple people that you're talking to so that you're gathering all the information you need to make an educated decision about what to do with your retirement fund. So talk to them, but talk to other financial advisors as well to make sure you get the best deal.
Great. Now, We have had several people through the chat and Q&A ask about the spreadsheets that you shared. Should they just take a screenshot maybe here of the contact information and email you for those, or are those?
Yes, yeah, just email, either Financial Fitness or any of these, emails, that direct emails, happy to share those with you. And I have so many more, like we've been doing this for 16 years at CloudPost right now. I've got a handout on everything. So if you have a specific question about anything, I've got it, but I'm happy to share everything with you guys.
Okay, great. Now, this is an interesting one. Someone is asking if you can speak briefly about if they work part-time, should they be saving, or how much should you start putting in savings until you have a full-time job?
It's really hard to save when you're working part-time. It's really hard to save when you're working full-time because expenses are so much right now. But look at, kind of write down your expenses and look at where you can cut back, where you can maybe suspend something for a little while to build that savings, because it is crucial to financial freedom. It is crucial to not have to stress if you lose that job, right? It is crucial that you still have food on the table and a roof over your head and clothes on your back. Those are the necessities. So everything else that we do, all the vacations, all the streaming services, all the things that we do extra are just that. They're extra. If I need to suspend it for 3 months while I get back on my feet, I can suspend my Netflix. I can go into my cell phone and just go down to the bare minimum. I can cut everything, but I still have to have the roof over my head. I still have to eat. So looking at that list of expenses, when you go through and write your things down and look at what you want to accomplish and you have a specific goal that you want to accomplish, you're going to look at that spending and ask, is it helping me achieve that? If it's not, what can I do differently? What can I do to spend less here to get that savings going? Because it is crucial to that financial freedom. And how much you should start putting in savings really depends on all of those things. What is your monthly expense? What is your income? What are your goals? Looking at that big picture and what you want to accomplish to make that happen.
Okay, I know again we're running short on time. We have 3 questions. Some of them might be a little bit lengthy. We have 2 about stock, so I'm going to kind of just combine those, and then we have 1 about consolidating credit card debt. So someone's asking if you've heard of Stash, and if so, what's your opinion on it? And is it as good as Robinhood? And then another follow-up about stocks is, how do you invest in stocks by yourself? So I think those are kind of heavy-duty questions.
Yeah, so I haven't heard of Stash. I haven't used that one. I used Acorn and I wasn't happy with the response. It wasn't, it was hard to get a hold of someone. Robinhood, I really like. I've been using that now since 2021. And I have $25 a paycheck that's going there automatically. So again, automated my savings going to Robinhood, and then I can pull up and say, okay, what do I want to invest in? And I can purchase portions of shares. So I have like 10 different stocks that I'm looking at that I have invested based on what matters to me. Like what I know clean energy is important to me. So I'm investing in that. So what matters to you? Look at the history, talk to a financial advisor, and look at all the different options and look at the reviews. I do like Robinhood. I love the information it gives you. I love that it links to news. I love that it gives you what other advisors are doing. I haven't used Stash, but there's a lot of options out there. So you can just use that and buy the stocks yourself by saying, I want to buy 25 shares of whatever. So, yeah.
Okay, then the finale is, what should I do to consolidate and eliminate high interest credit card debt? That probably is a meeting, but what can you share in just a few moments?
So this is going to go to writing your expenses down, right? So making sure what can you afford to pay towards that debt. If you have that list, going into, again, that creditor list, and I know what all the interest rates are, I know what the monthly payments are, the balances, the credit limits, there's a lot of different ways to access and pay off debt. There's 4 different ways. One is by on the debt snowball. I'm sure you guys have heard that before. Dave runs it all the time. Pay it off by the lowest balance to the highest, right? So that's one option. Second is debt avalanche, where you're putting it by the highest interest rate, which financially makes sense because next month I'm not losing it money towards interest. Third method is increasing my credit score so I can get a debt consolidation loan and get maybe a balance transfer to a 0% credit card. that's where my balance to limit ratio matters. If I got a $500 balance and a $1,000 limit, if I pay it down by 200, my score goes up 15 to 20 points. If I've got a $300 balance on a $500 credit card limit, I need to pay it down by 150. I'm gonna do that faster, so I'm gonna go after this one. So that's going to be a strategy to help open up loan options for you. I can also look at, maybe I've got a car loan where it's $1,000 down that I owe and it's 5%. I can borrow against the car equity. So there's a lot of different ways to do that. So I would recommend reaching out to us, and we're going to go in and take a look at all of the different options to do what's going to make most sense for you with your cash flow, with your debts, with the rates. We'll look at the big picture. So it's increasing your score to give you more options. It's increasing your cash flow to pay it faster. It's talking to lenders about options. There's a lot of ways to do it.
Wow, great. So much information, Teralyn. Thank you. That was wonderful. And we thank you so much for sharing so much with the group. Hopefully everyone learned something new today, but please contact the financial fitness team if you have more questions. Great. Thank you, everyone. And right on time at 1 o'clock. Everyone have a wonderful rest of your day.